Hey, it's Don, the Auction Professor here. I've talked about clocks in other videos, and I've showed some examples. I picked up a few more. I do pick up clocks pretty much almost weekly. And again, the condition isn't as important because you can always piece them out. Here's a good example. This is literally how I found it. I paid 15 bucks for this clock, missing the glass face in the front and the whole works. I've taken it apart. I've looked at it, I've cleaned it, and I actually got it working. On clocks like this, these springs right here, most of the time when it doesn't click and wind after it's been setting for a while, it's because these are all clogged up. I've actually disassembled and pulled out this box here, or the actual workings, and then I have actually sprayed and soaked them with WD-40. I don't know if that's the official thing you should be using, but for me, it actually works. It cleaned it up. I keep keys all the time, so I actually found keys that'll run this one as well. Vintage ones match the same clock. This clock, though, is a very good clock. The mechanism alone is worth well over 15 bucks. It's early. It's a mantle clock. It completely works, and again, the only thing I needed to do to get this thing running again was to disassemble or remove the workings and then actually take care of lubricating the springs. Again, both of these were jammed up. This one you do not want to mess with. It has a lot of tension under here. This is actually the mined one. But we did lubricate it and the whole works. You can take these apart and remove these. I've done it a few times. I don't like to do it. One of these springs, the pressure is released on them all at once. They can really do some damage. They can cut you up really bad. So if you're not sure what you're doing, be careful. Look it up first. It's always safe to at least be carefully remove these. On versions like this where everything is exposed, it's very safe, at least from my experience. On other ones that have like a closed case where you can't even see all the workings, you'll have to kind of judge them for yourself. But I've removed the wood here. I'm going to probably fix it up just a little bit. If I do anything like that, I always say that it has been looked at, and wood was re-hammered or whatever the case may be. List what you did to it. But this clock here, $15 in, it does work. I have now let this run overnight. It's ran for 12 straight hours. I'm going to let it run for another length of time. I believe this is like a 7 or 8 day clock. We'll see how long it runs. But at this point, it's keeping perfect time. The only issue, other than it needing cleaning up and that it wasn't working, I can fix the back. Not a big deal. It's just missing. Well, actually, it has the little clasp to hold it. The only thing it's missing is this piece here. Once I get this glass face for this clock will sell in the $200 and $225 range. There's very little wrong with it. Most of the outside is just dirt. I've cleaned up some areas. These are brass pieces as well. It's got all of those. It's got the brass feet. Every part that's supposed to be here is here other than the glass. This glass can easily be found on eBay for 15 or 20 bucks. So I will have 25 or 30 bucks into this clock, and I should get almost $200 back in profit out of this clock. Maybe more, but you can type these mantle clocks in and look them up. It still chimes. It still does everything it should. And again, it was not working, and it looked way worse than you see it now. I've actually dusted it and the whole works off. It was dirty, dingy. He wanted 50 for it. We went back and forth. The glass was missing. It wouldn't work. There's no guarantee that I would even get this thing working, mind you. So my worst case scenario is I'd sell the insides, the actual mechanisms out of this clock for say 50, 60 or bucks, somewhere in that range would be my guess. But it's all here, the pendulum, the whole works. So this was a good deal. Love clocks. I love the sound. We've got a clock ticking here right now. I've got pretty much an actual clock like this running somewhere in my house most of the time. I picked up another one. This came from a flea market where I got a silver plate, Norwegian or Swiss silver plate that's in another video. This one here is actually Bakelite. I originally didn't pay much attention to it once I realized it was plastic, but the piece was actually present. It's missing. It's got one broken piece. I think it's right here. Yeah. This is a foot or something. Now, it's in a spot where you won't even really see it if I glue it back in. Obviously, I would tell them there was a problem. There's one little chip here. This clock is from the 30s or 40s. What's special about this one is it has CCCP written on the face as well as Cyrillic text. If you're not familiar with this, this is actually a Soviet Russian clock from World War II era or before. All Bakelite. It's basically a cuckoo clock style. I haven't even opened it very much, so I will take a quick look. This one looks like, nope, it still works. You can hear the cuckoos. Official way to test it, this is how I do it. I don't see anything else wrong with it. Again, part of the chimer. This is actually the chime mechanism. Clock workings. This one I will test out, and we will do the very same thing. I will, in fact, the pendulum's here too, but I will probably lubricate it if I can get this one out. These are a lot harder because you don't all the time really want to mess with the cuckoo parts. I think this one's removable. Yeah, it's loose. I can fix this one too then if that's the case. But most of the time what I see is stuff's just jammed up from grease and gunk and hair and dust with most clocks that I run into. If you call a clock repairman, something like this, they might charge you to fix this one here, maybe $100 or more bucks, because they charge very high by the hour. I know some clocks, it's very much worth it. The grandfather clocks, we've had one before, and we did pay a lot of money to have it serviced and repaired. But we doubled our money on what we got from it once we did sell it. So again, this is all wood base. It's handmade, hand painted. You can even still see the brush strokes on it. Real early piece. Real nice proofing marks from the Soviet government. Again, I haven't seen one like this before. I did see comps, so this one's probably going to go for, once we clean it up and show some good pictures and repair a few of the pieces here, probably 70 or 80 bucks on that one. So clocks, again, even the oddball stuff. That's what I say. I see oddball clocks all the time, constantly. I saw this one here. This one needs a little work to it. I'll probably take it apart too and fix the bend on the ring to hold the faceplate and the glass lens in place. This is a solid brass, and again, I haven't taken this one apart yet, so we'll have to see. It's a real odd clock. I would say it's probably World War I. It could even be considered like a trench military-style clock. Everything is brass or copper on it. It's a very well done clock. Silver-plated or nickel-plated parts. It's just a nice clock. I'll have to look this one up, but I wouldn't put less than $57.50 on it. It's got glow-in-the-dark, yeah, it's a travel clock of some sort. Glow-in-the-dark numbers on it, I would say. It's got the little handle to carry around. Again, I'd probably put $57.50. I'm sure if I took this apart, took the little bolts off the back, I'd be able to determine who made it. Most of these kind of clocks that are solid brass like this actually have maker's marks on the inside. You may have to remove a few more pieces. I'm really surprised that the porcelain face of the clock doesn't have anything on it. But that could dictate that it's maybe possibly a like a military style. I've seen British clocks that were military similar to this, so it is possible. And again, I don't know until I open it up, but I'll probably do that and see where it goes. That's pretty much it. That's what I got to show you today. Be on the lookout for clocks. They, again, as I showed you, that they can be repaired simply with just checking the mechanisms and winding them up and testing them out and cleaning and oiling them. So look out for them. Don't pass up the opportunity, even if it's missing a few pieces. They are repairable, and these are common pieces, these lenses, that can get out on eBay. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please click the like button, comment, and tell a friend. Have a good day.